So, how can you reclaim your true self beyond overwhelm? That's a question I'm posing today, um, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that. Really, but first of all, or perhaps alongside that, I really want to talk about emotions and the feelings in the body because what I'm seeing more and more is that we are not really tuning in to those feelings as guides as we go through life. And that sometimes what I hear a lot of people say is that when it comes to listening inwards, that they need everything to be quiet first. So in my community, the Three Principles community, there's a lot of talk about sitting, we're waiting really, not sitting, waiting for a quiet mind, for a quieter feeling, to be coming from that place all the time, and that we're only really connected to ourselves, we're connected to our true self, connected to what I like to call inner knowing, when everything's quiet and peaceful. And I talk to people about this and find that they've become stuck in the seeking of that nicer feeling, and therefore missing what's really important to see, and that is that wisdom is there when we listen to everything that is going on inside us, and the softening perhaps is a move away from a really quite hardened relationship that we might have with our emotions. And for most of us, especially especially my generation, there's this, yeah, sort of a dismissing or a hardening or a squashing down of emotions that we've learnt to kind of be part of, I guess. And I think sometimes the sort of inside out conversation can actually worsen that in some ways, because then again, we're kind of saying, well, wisdom's just this nice feeling. Wisdom comes when you're in a quiet, beautiful feeling, and that there isn't wisdom in everything else that's actually passing through us. The the noise as it arises in the mind takes form in the body as energy. And that energy is our guidance. And that might be, what we might call huge amounts of anxiety. It might be overwhelm, which is what I've been exploring a lot recently. For me, that's a very heavy feeling in the chest. But that I now see is the guidance to slow down. That is wisdom from the body, which is so much wiser than the mind often, to say it's time to just sit with what's there, to be still, to pause, to take a breath, to just connect to yourself. If all the time we're saying, well, I need to get rid of that awful feeling, that the uncomfortable feelings have to go, I've got to get rid of those before I can actually proceed with life. What we're actually doing is we are dismissing the wisdom that our inner knowing is sending to us. And for me, there's then this really powerful connection that can happen when we begin to really sit with our emotional state. So how that practically might play out for me is that overwhelm can be it has been a really prominent feeling for me. I will wake up in the morning and my mind will get very busy with all the things that I would like to get done today. And that manifests as a very heavy feeling in my chest. There's a literally like a pressing feeling in my chest. And then what used to happen from there was my whole kind of being was about then, well, how do I make that feeling go away so that I can, be calm and have a lovely day getting all the things done. And usually, unconsciously, I think that I would then start to fiddle and do things and procrastinate often, um, rather than being on the path that I really want to be on, which of course is to share this stuff as broadly as I possibly can. And what I tend to do more now is really listen, really tune in to what is going on in my body. And that might involve sitting on the chair. I have a chair over here. It's currently covered in stuff because we were away in the motorhome a lot last week, and it's chaos. Anyway, I can sit in the chair sometimes when it's not covered in stuff, and sitting in the chair away from my desk, away from the busyness, and just feeling into my own body, feeling what's there, feeling the discomfort, if that's what's present. If I'm overwhelmed, it is what's present. There is some discomfort. And just watching it move. Like when I say watching it, it's feeling it move really, but it feels to me like I'm looking inside and seeing the energy moving about in my body. Now, what I feel happens then is that your wisdom can kind of come in then, because a number of things happen. As soon as you start to look at your emotions and you start to be present with them, you become present because you become connected to something that's real right now. If you've got angry butterflies in your stomach, or you've got that heavy feeling in your chest, or your hands are shaking maybe, um, you're connected to that is real, that is present now, and so your attention is to the present moment. Your attention is no longer up here in your mind, focusing on the thoughts and probably getting quite wound up about something. Your attention is in the present moment, and that is like a reset button. There's a natural calming that occurs then. And what I find then is that wisdom kicks in, inner knowing kicks in. Something says, right, this is the next thing to do. There's some clarity. And it's almost like because our attention, our awareness, consciousness has moved into the body, the mind clears and we can access maybe more of that right side of the mind, right side of the brain, and we can come up with some kind of creative next step. And that is how we reclaim our true self beyond overwhelm, because if we continue to feel overwhelmed and then just get busy trying to get rid of that feeling because we think, well, I'm supposed to feel good and I'm supposed to be in this nice feeling all the time. But I mean, that's just not realistic anyway, isn't it? Welcome to being human, where being in a nice feeling all the time is just not possible. Nor would I want that really. I mean, that's ridiculous to think that that's even possible. And then when we sit with what's there and the clarity comes, that that little nugget of what's next is really powerful. And then we can express that. It might be that that's an idea. It might be that that's the next step in our business or our life in some way. It might be it's that next thing that we want to say to somebody. And then we can speak from a completely different place. I know when I feel overwhelmed, when I feel uncomfortable, discombobulated in my body, I don't express myself well. I don't express my own true self. I express myself from a really kind of in a very messy way, and it doesn't connect to other people around me, we often think that we need to be loud to reclaim to be reclaiming our true self, and that's not the case either. When we're quiet, when we've sat with our emotions, when we've allowed those to pass, and we've kind of come from that place, there's some real beautiful clarity available, I think. And I think this is how we build trust with ourselves. We build trust with our whole system. We begin to trust our emotions as being these beautiful guides to guide us through life. And we can see that if we're suppressing, if we're striving all the time, we're trying to silence our emotions, what we're actually doing is silencing our inner knowing. We're saying, shut up. You know, don't come telling me bits of information about my rubbishy thinking. I don't want to hear you. Whereas when we start to hear the body, when we start to hear our emotions, be with them, what we're really doing is we are connecting to something, something really authentic, something that's truly us. And us as in universal intelligence, as in, mind as it's spoken of in the three principles. Like that is who we really are, but all of our experience is part of that. It's not that some things are not part of it and some things are. And particularly our emotions. To me, that's the only way we can reclaim ourselves beyond overwhelm. Otherwise, we just keep going on that same treadmill, I suppose, going round, or maybe, some kind of cycle, going hamster wheel, maybe going round and round and round, going through the same thing, feeling briefly, suppressing, getting rid of it, not really connecting to ourselves and just keeping busy, while in the meantime, we're kind of missing that connection to our true self. So I hope that's been helpful. I really do think more and more that it starts with sitting with your emotions and being present to what's there now, being in the present moment with your own experience and not being afraid of it, because that's it. We are afraid of our emotions as a populace, as a species. Interestingly, other species aren't, and neither are toddlers who haven't learnt yet to be afraid of their feelings. So start there. And if you need any help with that, if you like confused about how do I sit with my feelings and how do I get this started, then you know where I am. Take care, lots of love, and I really hope that you